Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl India Simone. Welcome back to my channel where I focus on all things lifestyle, wellness, and real estate related. I've seen videos that are talking about like the truth of real estate and giving advice about what you should expect your first year. And so today I want to talk about my truth when it comes to real estate and what I wish I knew before I got started. I wanted to offer some tips that can help new agents just navigating and figuring out if real estate's gonna be the best career plan for them. So the first thing you wanna do is to do your research on brokerages. So when I was starting the process, I started looking at brokerages before I even took the test. So while I was still in the middle of taking the course and learning, I wanted to get a gauge on my area and what brokerage would fit best with me. I would definitely recommend talking to multiple brokerages, getting a feel for which one you think aligns with your goals and your aspirations, who you connect the most with, who you think will be great when it comes to mentoring and education. Those are some really big things that you want to look at when it comes to a brokerage. Now, I wouldn't say it was a mistake because I have enjoyed my brokerage so much, but I didn't really know what the difference was between a team and an individual agent. So an individual agent is someone who is pretty much responsible for every single aspect of the transaction, whether that be the lead generation, marketing, transaction coordinator, things like that are what an individual agent is going to be responsible for. They'll be responsible for hiring the photographers, for ordering the marketing for their listings, for paying for lead generation services, which are not cheap, but the splits are higher. So a team, on the other hand, is a group that pretty much handles all of the legwork for you when it comes to the back end of things. So obviously with a team, the splits are a little bit different, which does take a hit. You do feel it. However, with a team, you have that support when it comes to lead generation. You have that support when it comes to mentorship and coaching. You have that support when it comes to listing marketing, photography. Pretty much you are only responsible for handling your buyer, handling your seller, and everything pretty much else is handled on the back end without you even having to touch anything. So I like being on a team because I love the support. I'm not really that great when it comes to marketing. I didn't want to have to be responsible for lead generation and paying for lead generation services. Now with each option, you're going to pay for like office fees. And I didn't see that the office fees were that much of a difference compared to the office fees of an individual agent. And then you also have to weigh how much things cost. How much is photography gonna cost? How much are marketing gonna cost? How much is lead generation gonna cost out of my own pocket? So with a team, obviously, we're not seeing any of that money up front or having to pay for any of that money up front, but we do pay that money when it comes to the splits. So I would really weigh which one you value more, what your skills are. And for me, I didn't really wanna have to worry about so much of like lead generation. Like it's hard enough being an agent on a team versus being an individual agent and just having to door knock and all of that. Like even though I do that now still, it's such a benefit to have lead generation. So we use programs like Zillow. We have coordinators on our team who assign different buyer leads that come in to different agents that they feel like it would be best suited for. So it was a better step for me. I didn't want to have so much pressure on myself the first couple of years in real estate. It's hard enough. So it just really depends on who you are and which one works best for you. But I would definitely do my research. On top of that, interview with multiple brokerages. Research who the top brokerages are in your area and really get a gauge of what brokerage you think would best align again with you. Honestly, I was looking at a lot, like when I started, I was looking at a lot of luxury brokerages and really trying to set myself up to start out with like $1 million listings. However, when I interviewed with these brokerages, they didn't make me feel comfortable at all. It felt very competitive and pushy. Whereas this group, they were really welcoming. It was actually really hard to get on this team. They were very particular about who they chose, which really showed me that they wanted to make sure that my vision aligned with theirs. So it really worked out for me by coincidence, really by accident, but I really suggest you doing your research. Number two is maintaining your mental. So the first couple of years are going to be a grind, and I don't think I was prepared as much as I probably would warn and suggest people to be now, because it does take a toll on you mentally, physically, emotionally, especially when your goals and what you want for like your GCI and your income don't, which is your gross commission income, when those things don't align, with So number two that I have, and I put this high on my list, is because it's really important. So number two isn't something. So number two is maintaining and finding ways to maintain your mental, because the first 2 years, and I mean even past the first 2 years, is a grind. It's hard. It's hard dealing with other people. There's a lot of money at stake, and so you definitely want to make sure that you are maintaining your own mental health, and not only mental health, but spiritual health, emotional health, physical health, everything. So I really prioritize self-care. I also would suggest not being so rigid when it comes to your goals and being able to pivot. And that doesn't mean not to have goals, but my first year I definitely set the aim high in the millions for my net sales, but that didn't happen. So this year, because those goals didn't happen, it really took a toll on my mental health. And so I had to make sure that I had ways to maintain that. So if you're really interested in learning more tips to maintain your mental health, I have a video all about that, and hopefully that will help you to figure out some tools that will work best for you. Number three is networking. So whether you are with a team that has built-in lead generation or you are an individual agent, it's important to network, to get your name out there, to make sure that people know who you are so that you can become their reliable and trusted real estate advisor, whether they're ready to buy, have a friend that's ready to buy, or just have simple questions about real estate. You want to build trusting relationships with people so that you become their go-to. Joining some clubs, figuring out what hobbies you like in order to align yourself with people who also enjoy the same things that you do, and you can hopefully become their go-to realtor, because at some point these people are most likely going to want to buy. Also, reach out to people that you already know. So it can be really nerve-wracking to call people, like whether that be friends or family or people that you used to work with, and say, hey, like, I'm in real estate. It can sound really cheesy and salesy. However, if these are your people, they are going to want to see you win. They're going to want to see you succeed. And so the idea of doing this is reaching out and saying, hey, is there anyone that you know that's looking to buy? Do you have anyone that you believe do you know anyone that's complaining about how high rent is and that may be interested in buying? You know, there are different ways of wording it, but you want to build a sphere of people that you already know that you can be their go-to agent. Also, using social media. Now, social media isn't something that everyone wants to use. However, you see that there are agents who have been very successful using social media. Obviously, there are different ways of navigating that, whether that be TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr. I don't know, do people still use Tumblr? LinkedIn. There are multiple different social media outlets that you can use. And by doing this and, you know, showcasing yourself, showcasing the closings that you've had, showcasing the wins and the losses, you really are engaging with other people and letting them know, like, hey, I'm really about real estate. This is really what I want to do. This is really my career. And people will reach out, whether that be through DM or calling you to see, you know, what you can do for them. So if you're into social media, I would definitely recommend using that as a tool in order to build more clientele. Also, going to events. If you have a small business expo in your neck of the woods, if you know of any other events going on, I would suggest going to those, just putting yourself out there, networking, and letting people know that you are a realtor, letting them know that you are a skilled and knowledgeable realtor in your area and that you were able to serve their needs. Number 4, and I put this as a separate one, is building professional relationships. When I talk about building professional relationships, I mean building professional relationships within your brokerage and within like your network of other realtors, because that's also important. So ways that you can do this is by reaching out to people in your brokerage, asking if you can shadow them, asking if they are open to mentorship, going to lunch and coffee or happy hour with them, and just really picking their brain and asking them for advice. So a lot of the time people are really open to doing this, and you can really learn what mistakes you can avoid that they've made, and also get advice about the current market, and just have an idea of how to run your business. So whether that be shadowing them during showings, a buyer consult, an inspection, things like that are things that you definitely want to get some knowledge of and see firsthand, so that you can take little pieces from each of these individuals that you're shadowing and create your own blueprint. Also, like I said, with mentorship, finding a coach or someone on your team or brokerage. Coaches can hold you accountable for making sure that you are doing the action steps that are going to get you to your goals. Mentors can be really great. I know that I have multiple people on my team that I can really call, whether that be a question about a contract or something that I have going on, or just to cry and vent. It's really important to have a circle of people that you can really trust. So another thing is finding your own go-tos, building your own professional circle of inspectors, lenders, closing attorneys that you really enjoy working with, that do the job efficiently. Most brokerages and teams, they do have obvious suggestions that they've used that have been very successful for their clients, but it's really important to build your own relationships, build your own connections, engage with people, and figure out which lenders you can entrust, which inspectors you feel like are the most thorough and efficient and timely, and really build these connections with people, because you don't want to just rely on someone else's experience. You want to get that firsthand. I would really suggest going to coffee with different lenders and inspectors, closing attorneys, things like that, getting a feel for how they align with you, what they can do for your clients, so that you can build your own portfolio of go-tos and don't have to rely on someone else's experiences. The 5th thing, which I was not prepared for as much as I am now, and that is hustle and grind. So I've heard from multiple people that the first 2 years are the biggest hustle of your life. It really sets up the trajectory for the rest of your real estate career. You really want to take the time to do lead generation, build your sphere, network with people, find your go-tos, talk to people. You really want to do a lot of that in the first 2 years of real estate, learning as much as you can, learning your processes, learning the logistics of how you get from A to B and what processes work best for you. Another thing is having a savings account for at least 6 months or longer, really, if you can. So it's really important to have a savings account, because you don't want to be stressed about how you're going to pay your rent at the same time as starting a new career. If you have a sale before that 6 months, that's great, that's fabulous. But you really just want to alleviate yourself of the stress and make sure you have that 6 months saved up so that you can put your focus into your career. Another thing is, and this is just the reality of the hustle and grind, is you may have to get a side gig. I still have a side gig today that I do. That doesn't take so much time. It doesn't take away from the real estate aspect, but it's something that I can do and still bring in extra income. So different ideas can be bartending or waitressing at night or on the weekends, becoming a virtual assistant, being a showing assistant and showing properties for some people on your team or at your brokerages that need help. These are easy ways of having a side gig and not taking away from the time that you need to develop your career in real estate. I would really suggest reaching out to people who do need showing help because it's an easy way of making some extra money. And not only are you making extra money, but you're also doing it in the same field of real estate, showing homes, getting a feel for different styles of homes, whether that be traditional or craftsman, whatever. Really getting a feel, interacting with other people, and knowing what your process is for showing a house. Definitely would suggest getting a side gig, at least for the first couple of years, or until you feel like you can really sustain yourself on a real estate income. So that's all I have for today. Hopefully this video was very helpful. If you like this video, don't forget to like. If you have comments about what you wish you would have known before you started real estate, comment below. I love to hear your feedback. And as always, subscribe, click the bell so that you are aware of other videos when they are posted. And as always, I have enjoyed talking to you guys, and I'll see you next time. Peace and love.